It is officially month 1 and we are in Australia. We arrived in Byron Bay about a week and a half ago.
We are pleased to inform you that we have 10 minutes ahead of schedule. The local time is 8 in the morning.
Youth with a Mission is hosting us, and we're staying at Eastgate Church, which is a local church connected to YWAM. For those of you who don't know, we're living out of our backpacks this year, and we prepared for the worst living conditions. But this month, we are staying in the sanctuary, sleeping on the floor. We've got amazing showers out back, and we're cooking all of our food in the kitchen here at the church. So it's been awesome. What are we making today?
Biscuits and gravy.
Biscuits and gravy. Bringing a little bit of home to Australia.
And they made from scratch.
Yum! And the great thing about being based out of the local church is that as we meet people on the streets and we plant seeds, we can connect them back to people here at the church who can continue to disciple them. Each morning we pile into the vans and head into downtown Byron Bay. Byron Bay is really a New Age mecca of sorts, and almost 2 million backpackers travel through Byron Bay almost every single year, which means that there's so many opportunities to share Jesus with people. Our ministry this month is very relational. We're walking the streets, we're hanging out with people in the parks, we're playing volleyball at the beach, and just seeing who God would have us connect with. All right, we are here in Byron Bay. We're gonna do some ministry today. We're heading to the beach, and I brought some photos with art on them, and I'm gonna just ask the Lord to highlight some people and put a little message, encouraging word, Bible verse with this art, and walk up and give it to them, and just see what God does with it. So I'm excited to see what happens, and I will update you soon. Today was absolutely incredible. I got to meet a girl named Shelinda, and she was just sitting under a tree by herself. She kind of looked like she wanted to be alone, a little bit closed off, but I just felt drawn to her. So I walked up to her and I was like, hey, can I journal next to you? And she was like, sure. You know, she had her journal out, and we started talking about Byron Bay and traveling, and I found out that she's 23 years old. She's traveling across Australia, but she's not traveling with anyone. So she was feeling kind of lonely, feeling just like she wanted some friends. And so we started talking about how, isn't it funny that we're wired for relationship? And I even said, you know, I believe that God has created us to connect with each other. And, you know, not really knowing where she stood with God, we continued to talk. And I asked her about her passions and what she loved to do. And she said she liked to do some photography, that she was artistic. So I thought, oh, this is perfect. You know, I got out 5 of the photos that I had brought with me, and I said, I like to give these to people. So just look through them, pick out one that you like, and I'll write a little message for you on the back. So she picked one that she liked, and I just asked God, you know, what do you love about Shelinda? And almost right away I heard daughter of hope. That God just loved that about her hopefulness. And so I started writing that down, and then in the process of that I asked her, you know, when you journal, what do you journal about? And she said that she just really loved journaling about her experiences, things that she didn't want to forget about her travels. And then she asked me, well, what do you journal about? And I said, you know, some of the same things, but I also, you know, ask God questions and I write down what He says to me. And her eyes just got big, and she was like, wait, God talks to you? And I was like, yeah, you know, I haven't always been able to hear from God. And I kind of launched into my testimony at that point about how I went through most of my life feeling very distant from God, because I wanted to be a good person. You know, I wanted to live a good life, but there were all these things in my life that I just felt like separated me from Him. So I explained how I had received Christ, received His forgiveness, and how I've now felt like Jesus really was my friend. He was someone I could talk to at any time. And she kind of launched into telling me about her experience growing up in church. She said that she had a moment where she felt like she received God, but now she's really open to anything spiritually. So yeah, from that point on, we just continued to talk about God's love, and I gave her back the photo that I had finished writing on, and I said, you know, Shelinda, I feel like God told me that you're his daughter of hope, and read the rest of it for her, and she was just said, you know, wow, that really resonates with me. For some reason or another, you know, I've gone through all these hard times in my life, but I've always remained hopeful. So from there she said, it's really cool that you can hear from God, but that's something I'm definitely not ready for. And besides, he probably doesn't even listen to people who don't fully believe in him. And at that point I was like, no, like he listens to all of his children. And if you ask, you will receive. And if you seek, you will find. And so just ask God to reveal himself to you. And you could just kind of see the wheels turning, like, wow, okay. And then I invited her to an event that we're doing on Thursday with YWAM in the park. It's called Pancakes and Chai. So I'm really excited to see if Shelinda comes. I really am praying that she does. We did Pancakes and Chai in the Park, which is a free event that YWAM puts on every single week as a tangible way to show Christ's love to people in the community. And Shelinda came. I was so excited to see her there. She sat down next to me. We got to talk and chat, and then my squad leader Sarah started talking to her and sharing her testimony. And then Shelinda also got to talk to one of the pastors. His name is Steve. He's from Eastgate Church, and Steve got to just share more of God's love with her.
Hello, welcome. It's Steve Clark here from England in YWAM Byron Bay. I'm with YWAM Byron Bay, been with YWAM for 18 years. And in the video you saw myself and Alyssa talking to this girl Shelinda. And what I was sharing with her was about her father's heart for her, and that she's made it in the image of Christ in Psalm 139. I shared that with her about, she's knitted together in her mother's womb by the Lord Almighty. It's pretty cool, actually. So so for Alyssa, the team's here, they're making a massive difference here in Byron Bay for this first leg of their trip.
Yeah, so Steve really poured some amazing truth into Shelinda's life, and I really wanted to follow up with her later in the week, and so we kind of made plans to grab ice cream together, but I just found out that she is actually leaving town a lot earlier than expected, so I won't be able to see her again. But we connected on Facebook, so I'm going to continue to send her encouragement and just see what God does in her life. So if you guys want to pray for Shelinda, that would be absolutely amazing. And there's also a few other people that I would love to have you pray for that we've just had great conversations with this week. So the first guy, his name is Geronimo. He approached us in the park as we were doing our spiritual art thing and playing guitars. We had found out that his dad died when he was 9, so we shared about God being a good father, God being someone who will always be there for him. And he seemed so open to receiving all of that, and he even wanted prayer at the end, so that was incredible. Pray for Geronimo. And then also there's a gal named Robin who we met at the library. It was just amazing to see how God showed up. She was really open, receptive, even though she has a lot of New Age beliefs. We gave her a New Testament, and at the end she even called us her little messengers from God. So I am just excited to see what God does in Robin's life, and I would ask that you would pray for all three of those people, Shelinda, Geronimo, and Robin, that God would continue to move and work in their lives. And I just believe that there's even more for us here. So I can't wait to see what God has in store. Whoa, yeah.